incorrect, rubbish, false information, false news, pseudoscience, and extremists are going to be the number one reason why you're going to get bit. There is going to be a lineup of dogs that are going to be taken to the shelters to be put down. There's going to be thousands and thousands of stock killed off, all because of these extremists. So I'll go that, and I'll probably cover that first and what they're trying to do, so that way you can see how it's actually going to affect you firsthand. And basically the biggest threat that's happening around the world at this very moment is the RSPCA. Okay, now this, I know there's a lot of people that work for the RSPCA, they're great people, the volunteers are wonderful, the employees are wonderful, and all the people that are working there for the sake of the animals are absolutely beautiful people. So this is not the problem. What it is the extremist methods and control factor they want to try to have over the entire industry. This is professionals, this is farmers, these are animal control officers and so on. And what they're doing, they're becoming bigger and bigger. In Australia, they're actually subcontracted out to from the council to manage all the council pounds. Then they, once they manage the council pounds, they get paid for the daily boarding, they get paid for putting the dogs down, etc., etc. So they're becoming a massive political power. And what's happening, they're doing a big push to ban absolutely everything. It's a democracy. Everyone has a right to have an opinion. They can say, we don't like electric collars, we don't like pinch collars, etc., etc. But when they try to enforce that and go to the politicians, because they have an absolute monopoly with all the votes and the massive amount of people with animal rights behind them, then the politicians give them exactly what they want. They don't even listen to any other organisation with facts, but they'll listen to the RSPCA with pseudoscience. So systematically across Australia and across England, they've been banning electric collars, pinch collars. Now, you might think, well, big deal, I hate them too. Who doesn't like pinch collars or electric collars? Hands up, it doesn't matter, it's democracy. Maybe you don't know how they work or whatever. So I'll just give you an idea on how this is going to directly affect you. First of all, the choker chains. Everyone's seen the choke chains, everyone uses the choke chains. There's a massive push these days to ban the check chains. This one here I've got in Crufts, London. It's a custom lead I got made up for myself. And what happens if a dog pulls on this, the dog is going to choke. Everyone agree? So dog pulls on that, dog's going to choke, okay? So the idea is to give a little correction like this and talk, train the dog, use food and so on. The correction that you use with a check chain in a session amounts to about 1% of your entire training session. But the control, you get incredible control with the dog there, and the dog's walking on a loose lead. Everyone seen these? This is from the RSPCA. I've renamed it choke rope. Does exactly the same thing as a choke chain. But here's the difference. When a dog pulls on this, he's going to choke. Everyone agree? He's going to choke, but he can choke in comfort. It's rope. So the dog's going to choke on it. So now the dog's going to pull, he's going to choke. The volunteers at the RSPCA, as an example, have these when they take the dogs, all the rescue dogs, out for a walk. So when the dogs go out for a walk, they're in a kennel, they're busting their guts out to get out and walk, and that dog just chokes out for half an hour straight, all the way around. Half an hour later, they're not allowed to correct the dog. It's against RSPCA policies. So the dog goes out on a half-hour choke fest, but I'm being cruel by giving 1 or 2 corrections on a check chain and having to walk on a loose lead. The amount of bullshit that comes out of it, so I told you I'm not politically correct, that comes out of a lot of the extremists and extreme views is going to wreck everyone, because a lot of people actually take their word as gospel, and one of the things that happen is that stores that used to sell electric collars for training and used to sell check chains now don't do that anymore. Everyone's going through the RSPCA things. So this is what's going to happen when people start losing control of their dogs. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Everyone's here seen pinch collars. Okay, pinch collars, they look barbaric. When I first saw them, I was horrified by them. They've actually got all the links which actually link in like this. It distributes even pressure right around the dog's neck. There's a lot of hard character working dogs, hunting dogs, strong dogs, that if you put them on a harness, you're going ice skating. That dog's ain't going to stop. You can, with all your strength, you can correct that dog if you're allowed to, and you don't listen to the RSPCA rules, but you can correct that dog and do whatever, and that dog's going to drag you down the street to attack another dog. You're going to have no control on it. If the dog's on a collar, even myself, I've had large dogs that have just been dragging me, and I'm going behind them with the dog just like this, pulling away. No control. You put them on a pinch collar, hold the dog back with one finger, and the dog goes like this, pulls, the whole thing clamps in, and then you pull back like this. A lady I did a private lesson on a few months ago, it's on YouTube. She could walk the dog, 70-year-old lady, she had a big dog. She'll walk the dog, pinch collar everywhere she goes, down the street, everywhere. She had full control on it. When you take it off the pinch collar there, the dog will drag her over. We now have a workplace, a home safety issue that this lady's going to end up with a busted hip because the dog's dragged her over. The dog's going to run out and attack other dogs. It's animal aggressive. It'll attack another dog, kill another dog. So now we've got 2 dogs at the vet, or 1 dog dead. We've got a lady with a busted hip, all because of the RSPCA and the banning of this life-saving tool, life-saving tool, or health and safety tool. Do you see what I mean? So that is the type of thing that's coming along. That's just a pinch collar. When the electric collars get banned, and then I'll move on to the other stuff. The electric collars, has anyone used electric collars here? They're wonderful, wonderful, humane pieces of equipment. They're life-saving pieces of equipment. When you put a bark collar on a dog and that dog runs out to the fence and goes, woof, woof, woof at the dog next door, wants to attack him and gets a pulse. Geez, done like that. Woof, 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 geez, got this, and comes back and, Dad, something happened to that dog over there. He hurt me. I don't like that. And now that dog just sits here and looks at the other dog and says, I'm not going anywhere near him. It hurts every time I bark at him. So you fix that problem completely just by putting a bark collar on him. Not only with barking, but with aggressing the other dog. You've stopped it on the ground level. And now you can actually put the bark collar on the dog there, have the dog on a harness if you want. You can walk the dog to the park and the dog goes to growl another dog, like this, and then the dog just learns to be able to walk. Okay, I'm looking at you, I don't like you, but I know I'm not allowed to bark at you, and then continues walking past. You've shut him down. How do you do it without the electric collar? If the dog's barking at the dog on the fence, what was the old way of doing it? You would actually go to the fence there and go, get over here, bloody mongrel, come on over here, like this, and you start calling the dog back. Now the dog is vocally dominated by you. Now that dog is scared of Dad because you're yelling at him. Because last time you yelled at him, you smacked him or did something. So now the dog's, oh no, I'm in trouble like this. So now he learns not to do it when Dad's there, but as soon as Dad's gone, he's going to go for his life, okay, and continue doing it. It's not going to work. Then you go over there and the dog thinks, geez, he's yelling, he's drawing it in 2, I'll go harder. And then you go and grab the collar and you go and drag the dog back. The dog's like, like this, and dragging him back and put him in the room there. And the frustration becomes stronger, so the dog's aggression actually gets stronger towards the dog next door. And all that happens because you haven't got a collar. What is the biggest complaint the council has? Barking. Barking. Do not let the RSPCA push, or anyone push, to ban electric collars. Ever. Do not give them that control, because there'll be thousands of dogs that will be dead, that will die as a direct result of it, okay? When these tools are taken away, the electric collars, in Australia, a lot of dogs get killed by snakes. We use electric collar for snake training, teach the dogs not to go near them. In the koala detection dogs, which are trained the first ones, they were trained on electric collars. The search and rescue bloodhounds were trained on electric collars. The dogs we use for biosecurity to find red-eared slider turtles were trained on electric collars. You take a Labrador to a lake and you want him to find turtle eggs, and he says, but bloody hell, there's swans and everything. It's Disneyland for Labradors. Okay, he don't care about anything. He just wants to get those swans. So we can use the collar to pulse him on what we don't want him to look at, so then he can go back and go, okay, I'm going to find these turtles now. And now he can walk alongside it. The cane-toed detection dog took him over to CSIRO in Western Australia and seen a kangaroo for the first time. So what the bloody hell was that? Remember that Merry Melodies cartoon with the kangaroo? Like this, and that dog just shot off like a shower of shit. And he just chased that kangaroo. I lost the dog. And then about an hour later or 2 hours later, the dog come back with its tongue hanging out. This, oh, geez, that was a bloody good run, that one there. And then when I took the dog to do searches, that dog didn't have any interest in finding cane toes. It just wanted to attack wildlife and attack kangaroos. So I put the electric collar on him. The dog went out. The dog saw the kangaroo, shot off after him. I went pulse, pulse. Dog hit the skids. Ball of dust come up. Dog's gonna run back. What the bloody hell did that thing do to me? Like this. And so he's like, hey, you're a good fella. And then I put the juice down a little bit. So I just put on a lower level. The dog looked at the kangaroo, went pulse like this. Not how much, just a little, like it's very, very tiny, like that. Oh, okay, it's a reminder. Okay, I won't do it. Then, within one session, the dog's doing full searches at the CSIRO with all these kangaroos hopping around, doing everything right around the dog, all within 6 feet of it. They are life-saving devices. Now, without that, the dogs will be put down. So, when you look at where they've been banned, over in Europe, where electric collars have been banned because of the RSPCA, there's been a massive increase on livestock that's been killed. because farmers who use them, they've got a beautiful, you look at the value of a herding dog for a farmer, and what happens if you've got a beautiful herding dog that's a bit toey towards sheep, and then goes in there and starts nipping them on the bum, and it's a bit too toey towards them, and then goes and tries to attack them, then pulls them down, and you can't get them out of it. So what do? You shoot the dog. You take the dog to the RSPCA. You can't have him. Then the dog gets out and it just runs around trying to kill sheep and new lambs and things like this. So what you do, you let your collar, bang, you can back the dog off a little bit. That dog stays at home with his owner, lives a beautiful life around the sheep, never a problem ever again. Okay, dog lives, and you've saved the lives of thousands of sheep, but all those sheep died as a direct result of the RSPCA. So do not let the RSPCA or anyone take control and ban these life-saving tools. As councils that I've done over the years in the 80s and 90s and done talks with them, the ones which had the best success rate with barking dogs, the ones that used to hire out the electric collars. They used to hire out bark collars. They had them available, and when there was barking dogs there, the control officer would go around and go, oh yeah, I can see why the dog's barking that. Look, we can hire this out for a week, you just drop it back, and all the rest is just $50 or whatever, and you hire it out, or you can buy one for $150. You make money on it, you give them a bark collar, problem's fixed within a day or one session or a week, and then the collar comes back given to someone else. The barking will stop immediately with everything. So that is the number one thing for it. As soon as they're all banned, then there's going to be an increase of a lot of death. And also on top of that, a lot of people have dogs that go into national parks. They'll be in the caravan going around, the dog just sees a koala and chases and tears apart a koala. There's a lot of koalas killed by dogs and that. And how do you get out of that? If you're an owner and your dog's OCD on a koala and just wants to attack him, even though you don't have that problem here, but Kiwis or whatever. And that's the problem. But with the electric collar, you can actually pulse a dog, fix a dog for wildlife. You can teach a dog a recall, so the dog's actually walking within, say, 20 feet of you, and the dog's off lead, the dog goes a bit too far, just go pulse, the dog comes back. Dog goes to take off after another dog or something, go pulse, and he stays there. Next thing, you've got this dog which just hangs around off lead, full recall, 100%, safe around wildlife, walks through a farm, walk anywhere, because you got this life-saving device on the dog. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about. Sorry if I was rambling, but anyway, I should tell you what I really think. So okay.